What is up, Watch fam? Happy Tuesday, and welcome to this week's In the Metal. I am Christian from Theo and Harris. We've had a very unproductive start to this work weekend. I went and had a breakfast meeting. I ordered 2 eggs, rye toast, and corned beef hash, and it really slowed me down. So we are in dire need of a little kickstart pick-me-up. So I figured what better way to start our productivity than to talk about this week's watches. Let's do it. In the world of vintage Rolex, dials are king, and blue dials are just about at the top of that food chain. And looking at this Oyster Perpetual date reference 1500, that becomes glaringly obvious. The blue is beautiful, versatile, rare. While fun enough for the daring, it's conservative enough for the restrained. I mean, it really is the perfect storm. But the color of the dial is not where the merit of this reference 1500 ends. Not only is its steel case absolutely thick and raw, but the tritium paint throughout is original and beautifully patinaed to a custard kind of color. I mean, this is a dream watch, geeks. Very few contest Gerald Genta's legendary provenance in the watch world. I mean, the man personally designed 2 of the most famous and influential wristwatches of all time. The Royal Oak for Audemars Piguet and the Nautilus for Patek Philippe. But not everybody knows that before all of that, at the age of 23, he began designing a little watch called the Polerouter for a company called Universal Geneve. Although they come in many variations, and this example is without a doubt one of the rarest, they are nearly all defined by their classic twisted lugs and crosshair dials. Those 2 variables give these watches beautiful intricacy. They share so little beyond an appreciation for the refined with the styling of the time. It may not seem like it to the average eye, but if you look at them in context, I mean, they're sharp, sporty, they're different than almost anything that was being produced, and I absolutely love that. I mean, the watch world is so full of copies and homages that when I have the opportunity to reflect upon a true original, I take my time and I enjoy it. And take a look at this Tudor Submariner. I mean, it is no secret that I am not a sports watch guy. Oftentimes I find them far too big, bulky, and obtrusive for my wrist. But this watch, this vintage Tudor Prince Date Submariner, is the opposite. While obviously defined by everything that made the Rolex Submariner a legend, at 36mm, it's just so much more approachable for me. I mean, it's not small by any means. Its thick steel oyster case gives it incredible presence, but its slightly decreased case size makes it so much more enjoyable. And its price tag, a fraction of the Submariner, is much more attractive. This is not something you see every day. It's a ladies' Rolex Oyster Perpetual 2-tone, and the dial is stamped Tiffany. I know to some that might not mean anything, but for us Rolex geeks, it's an absolute legend. I mean, for me, it's kind of a weird honor to hold. And take a look at this chronograph. Powered by the Valjoux 7733, it's not only robust, but it's a stunner. I mean, look at that crisp white and black panda dial. It's just about as classic as a vintage chronograph configuration can get. And that pop of color on the second hand, that beautiful faded pink, brings it all home. It was an absolute pleasure to source these watches, just as it will be a pleasure to answer your emails and ship them off to their new geeky homes. So that's it. They're officially live on theoandharris.com. So don't walk, run.